Today, what we are going to do, we are going to attempt section B, and we have choice in the section B. We have basically two questions, question number 4 and question number 5. And you can attempt any one of the question that you think that you can attempt in a better way. This is a 26 marks question, and keep one thing in mind, because this is a lengthy question. This is a kind of essay writing, and you have to give maximum time while attempting this question. Like for example, if you are 1 hour and 30 minute overall timing for your exam, so give maximum time to that particular question, because it's considering like it's having 26 marks, so you cannot take that particular question in a lighter mode. Okay. So first I will explain the format of the question, so you can get idea that how you can write that particular essay, and then as a sample we will solve one of the question. Now, what is the format of the question? You need to understand first, then you will get idea that how you can attempt this question in a better way. If you see, just like the previous question, you have to start from introduction. You will start from an introduction. Introduction, keep it simple, keep it precise, so you can give a basic idea of the basics to your answer. So it should be very clear, very precise, and very sensible wording that you have to use. Then go for analysis. And then we will conclude on conclusion. Now, analysis, in the analysis part, if you see the question, in both of the question is asking to evaluate. So whenever we think or whenever we evaluate anything, we must have both perspective, mean positive side and the negative side. When we both have all these things, positive and negative side, then we can evaluate in a better way that which things it looks like a better thing. So in the analysis part, you have to give two different kind of arguments. Number one, you would give me a positive argument. Mean you have to support the phenomena in the question. Once you will give argument to favor the statement of the question, that will be considered as the positive arguments. And then you would give me a negative argument. Mean you have to oppose the argument you gave me in the above headings. So there should be a contradiction between both of these. Mean you would give argument that will oppose the statement of the question. So once you have these argument, then in the end we will conclude it in a better way. Now if we talk about the positive argument, let's say you are giving me an argument number 1. If you are giving me an argument, let's say you have identified this argument. Now what you will do, you would start it from introduction again. You would analyze it. How you would analyze it? Use sociological material. Refer your argument, give me any examples here, and then conclude it. Conclusion mean that whatever the things you have explained it to me, how it is associate and link with the statement of the question. If you are giving me negative argument, then how your a specific kind of identification is opposing the statement of the question? And again, once you will identify, let's say, the second argument, again, you would give me an introduction, analyze it, and then conclude it. This is how you have to give me, or you have to write each and every heading in that overall essay. Normally, I suggest students to at least write 7 paragraphs. 7 paragraphs, and each paragraph must have lines in between 7 to 9. Each paragraph have the lines between 7 to 9, and you have to write at least 7 paragraphs. One paragraph, it will start from introduction, and the last paragraph should be your conclusion. And in between 2 to 6, mean 4 paragraphs, you can divide. Give me two argument to support the phenomena, or 3 argument to oppose the phenomena. It's rest up to you. In between, you have 5 paragraphs that you can divide based on your information and the knowledge. Okay. Let's attempt the question number 4. And the question number 4 is, evaluate the view that socialization is the most significant factor in shaping the human behavior. What is socialization? Socialization means a kind of interaction. When you interact, that particular interaction influence your behavior. Now, we talked about so many socialization perspectives, so many socialization. For example, we talked about primary socialization, we talked about secondary socialization, and other than that, we discussed different kind of agents on agents of socialization, like media and all the things. Then how these socialization identify the formations, how they makes the identity. And then we discussed different kind of socialization as a mechanism of social control. So we have a lot of things that we can discuss in the favor of that particular question. So let's start from the introduction part. So as I told you in the previous question, that you have to pick the word from your question. Here we have to discuss the socialization. So let's start from the socialization. So what we can start from here: socialization is a process through which an individual learn and internalize learn and internalize the values norms and custom of their societies, or you can say traditions or customs of their society, or you can say shaping their behavior to conform to the social expectation, to social expectations. So these views show that, or you can say this process show that This process shows that socialization is the most significant factor. Socialization is the most significant factor influencing human behavior, as it affects individual from early childhood through various agents like family, peers, education, and media. However, this perspective can be further influenced by biological, psychological, and other social explanation and other social explanation to shape behavior. Now, if you see my introduction part, what I did, I explained the overall socialization process, and then I tell you that it has an impact on the behavior. Okay, and how this and impact, I talks about that when in the early stages of any individual, he interact with different socialization agents like family, peer group, so it has some consequences on their behavior. But there are other perspective which also affect that particular process. This is biological, psychological, and other social explanation. So whatever the things I have to do, I explain them in a shorter version and gave you an introduction part. Introduction part, this is the basics of my answer. There are following arguments to support socialization impact on human behavior. Now I am giving you some supportive points or arguments, whatever the things you can use. Let's start. Number one, primary socialization. Keep in mind the format. I told you that whenever you will write the analysis part or you will do the analysis part, so whatever the identification you have to introduce, then analyze, and then conclude, and conclude it like how it's supporting the statement of your question. So this is my identification. Now I'm going to write primary socialization occur. It occurs within the family, and important in early stage of life in learning basic norms, values, and language. The influence of primary socialization. The influence of primary socialization can be seen in the development of gender role, and the development of gender role and basic behavioral norms and basic behavioral norms. For example, process of socialization. Through process of socialization, children learn what is considered masculine and feminine in their culture and shaping their behavior accordingly. Now, you were talking about that how we can add the example of Genie. So what I will do over here, this is just for your example. Now what you will do, the absence of socialization, the absence of socialization have, or you can say might have, negative consequences on human behavior, such as Genie who demonstrate the lack of deficit of language acquisition, and social skills due to lack of socialization, or you might say inadequate socialization. Rest up to you that how you can formulate your statement. You just have to conclude. So you would say, hence socialization is a crucial part in the development of human behavior. Now we add two paragraph right now. Now move on to second argument. The second argument that we can write is secondary socialization. Secondary socialization. Now again, start from the introduction, then give an example, then conclude it. So introduction, what we can write in that particular heading: secondary socialization take place outside the family. It take place outside of the family. Outside of the family through agents like school, peer groups, and media. It reinforce and sometimes challenges or challenge what is learned at home. What is learned at home. Now I will analyze it. For example, Durkheim study on education highlights that schools serve as a secondary agent, of socialization, reinforce collective consciousness, and societal norms. Hence, these socialization usually develop human behavior outside the home or at macro level. I give you two arguments: primary socialization and secondary socialization. Other than that, you can write that how socialization, let's say, impact socialization impact on identity formation, let's say identity formation, let's say. If you want to give me other arguments, then socialization, uh, you can say, as a mechanism of social control. Socialization as a mechanism of social control. So it's up to you that you can further explain this particular question in your own words, in your own uh, sense of knowledge, or you can give me arguments other than that. So I just wrote few of the headings for your understanding. Now we will proceed towards the opposite arguments. In the next part of the question is opposing arguments, or you can say against point or opposing point. Now, what argument that we can write over here? I will give you those arguments that we already have explained in the introduction part. For example, we explained, we talks about biological influence. Biological influence on behavior. Now, biological factors such as genetics and instincts, genetics and instincts, these are the proper word that we read in our course. So distincts play, or you can say also play, an important role in shaping human behavior. In shaping human behavior. Like Wilson argued that Wilson argued that behavior such as aggression or maternal instincts, aggression and maternal instincts may have biological basis, may have biological basis may have biological basis suggesting that socialization is not socialization is not only the determinant of behavior. Okay, other argument what we can write over here, for example, number 2, You might give me example of role of individual agency. Role of individual agency. So you might say individual are not passive recipients. Individuals are not passive recipients. Passive recipients of socialization. Of socialization. They have agency. They have agency and can resist social norms. And can resist social norms. This concept suggests that people can actively shape their identity and behavior in oppositions to, or you can in opposite to, social expectations. For example, 1960 hippie movement shows individual actively resisting mainstream socialization process. Mainstream socialization process to create alternative values. Now what we did, I gave you two argument of that. Number third, that you can give me argument influence of structural and environmental factors. Structural or environmental factors. Other than that, you have these things. Then you can give me the argument that is very much appropriate is socialization and deviance. How to deviate. So there are these things that you can explain as your argument. Now we have to conclude our overall question. So what we will do, while socialization is the fundamental process, while socialization is the fundamental process in shaping in shaping human behavior by imposing societal norms and values. It is not sole factor. It is not the sole factor. Biological influence, individual agency, demonstrate the complexity of human behavior. Complexity of human behavior. Thus, while socialization is a significant a comprehensive understanding of human behavior requires multiple perspectives, including biological and other social factors. Now, if you see the question, what we did, we start from the introduction. So introduction is our one paragraph. Then we start from analysis. I give you two identification in the favor of the arguments, mean here we have two more paragraph. This is 1, 2, 3. I gave you two paragraph from the negative argument, so 4 and 5, and that was the sixth one. So you might add one of the paragraph either opposing the arguments or in the favor of the arguments. This is something I leave it on to you.